So today we're going to do a little video on Sarsaparilla. So this is this plant here. It's a native plant to our area here in Manitoba. In the boreal forest, you'll often see this as the main understory plant. It's valued as a medicinal herb. It's extremely vigorous. You know, it crept through this little root barrier gap and into our neighbor's lawn here. It gets mowed down and then it just comes right back up eventually. So this is how it looks when it's still coming out in the spring, sort of like poison ivy. And it grows clusters of blue berries. These will turn blue in a few weeks, but those are usually hidden underneath of the branches, or the leaves rather. Anyways, so you can see that it likes to spread by its roots. It sends out this network of roots, and so all of these plants here we will dig up and harvest for the roots, and that's typically been our pattern now this last while. Everything that crosses over the pathway or into the pathway, then we just dig that up and harvest that for the roots. So let's try some of this right now. We'll see if I can get this just with my hand. I often do this while I'm out hiking. Just grab a piece of this to chew on. The first peoples used this as a way of increasing endurance and reducing fatigue. And it's in the ginseng family, so that would make sense that this plant would have those properties. So you can see that, here we go. You can see, so there's a little node here and then a little node here, right? So it's just gonna have the one root shooting all over the place, and then it's gonna send up little shoots every once in a while. So just for now, just to give you an idea, this is all that you have to do. It doesn't take much work. And you can see there's lots of it, even in this little small area. It tends to really cover the area densely. Soon, this entire area here, all the way back to the sea buckthorn, the small shrub there, this whole area will soon look like this, even thicker. So it's a very good dense grounds cover. And here's the root, as I was just mentioning. And a nice thing, and I'm just gonna get into this here, is it has sort of a woody pith to it, like a woody center. And then there is the outside part. This one isn't the best example. I'm gonna get a more typical one here. This is a little bit more of a mature one. So it has this woody exterior that you can just strip off, and I mean, you can chew the whole thing, but typically this is the part that I find to be the tastiest. So there's the woody center, and then here's this little strip on the outside. So that is a nice chew while you're hiking, but I'll show you how we process the whole thing inside when we're using it for tea and things like that. So if you were foraging for this out in the bush, what I would recommend is only using roots that you can actually find the plant stalk attached to, because I mean, it's unlikely, but it's possible, it's within the realm of possibility that you're gonna pull up what you think is a sarsaparilla root, but is the root of something else, and then eat it, which could potentially be an issue. But yeah, so one nice little thing is where those little nodes are. There's this nice little bit here. It's almost like a celery stalk right at the end there. That's also nice for chewing on while you're walking. But you can see, with it being a little bit dry, this stuff comes out really clean. You hardly even need to wash it. And so now we will take it inside and chop it up. So maybe you're wondering what the flavor is like. It's just very light and refreshing. Almost like celery but with a tiny bit of radish spiciness to it yet too. But just very light and refreshing. Really nice on a hot summer day. So, all right, so we've got the actual plant stock here. And that part I'm not gonna save. I'm gonna maybe chew on that stem. And typically that little nub I'm also gonna leave. But then this is what I'm gonna harvest. And you can see a mature one of these can get quite large. And you can actually tell the age of the node by the number of rings at this little part. Each year will have its own growth ring. So out in the forest, you'll find them like this. Here, maybe you can see, well, the camera's not focusing, but you can kind of see the little growth rings there, right? So out in the forest, you'll find some that are older than me. So all I'm gonna do is just very roughly chop this up. I'd recommend doing this right away when you get home if you're harvesting, or right after picking some, because once it starts to dry out, then it gets very hard to chop. But even this more mature, thicker root, when it's fresh like this, is still quite easy to chop. There you go. So, beautiful stuff. So here's the chopped roots from that little pile that you saw on the cutting board before. This is what we get once it's all processed. And so for a pot of tea, I would add probably something like this. This is something I tend to have more in the morning, you know, but you could have it in the afternoon if you're having a bit of a lull in your energy levels too. You know, something like that is for myself, what I do. But the rest of this, you know, I'll just throw it onto this drying rack and it'll just dry. I'm not even gonna run the dehydrator on it. It'll just dry itself over the coming days. And yeah, it stores potentially forever inside of a mason jar type of deal. So what a wonderful thing to be growing in your yard. And I'll put a link for the Plants for a Future database in the description below, so that you can read up more if you like on the medicinal and nutritional information regarding this plant.